Okay, now we are moving on to property values. We'll hear first from Mr. Harris, then from Invenergy's witness. I'm sure I'll mispronounce his name. Bruce. And then we'll hear from the town's witness, Mr. Walker, for the tax assessors, equestrian.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Michael Sembley for Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, can you please state your name? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Harris, can you please state your name and spell your last name?
David Harris, Harris.
And do you reside at 200 Manley Drive in Pasco, Rhode Island?
I do.
And in front of you is a document that's been marked Harris Exhibit 1 and accepted in full. Do you see that in front of you?
I do.
And is that your pre-filed direct testimony in this matter?
Yes, it is.
And in recent days, have you had a chance to review that testimony?
I have.
And are there any amendments or modifications that you have that you'd like to make to that Exhibit 1, Harris 1, since you filed it in August of 2017?
Not at this time.
And are you going to be adopting that testimony as your direct testimony in this proceeding?
I am.
Thank you.
CLF has no questions for this witness. OVR has no questions.
I do have a couple. I thought maybe you might want to go, but I'm happy to go.
Oh, page before view.
Thank you. Fortunately, that's true. Mr. Harris, on the last page of your testimony, it's not numbered, but it's the last page, and it's line 5, and it says you're opposed to the project because it will surely decrease the value of your property the moment the project is approved. Do you see that on the last page?
I do.
Could you say what the basis for that is?
Yeah. My ultimate plans, which are already in play, are equestrian campground. So obviously it'll have a detrimental effect to people coming there. An equestrian campground, people, it's a destination to come to for a couple of days for families with their horses and enjoy the property. And it would have an effect on it. I know myself, I'll research places to take my family to do the exact same thing, which is where I got the idea. And a campground that butts a power plant that makes it past the first cut. Research like that.
What assumptions did you make at the time you filed your testimony about the work shifts that they would be using to construct the plant? Were you assuming one shift of work, 2 shifts of work, round-the-clock work? What were you assuming?
I mean, I would be assuming daytime shift, but I'm sure if being in construction myself, I know if things get behind, I'm sure it will go around the clock or extended at least.
If it does go extended, what do you think would be the effect on your property values?
People would not return,
Right.
and it would affect the property value.
That's all I have. Thank you.
May I proceed? Sure. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Harris. My name is Michael Blazer. I'm with Invenergy. I just have a few questions. Again, these pages aren't numbered, so I'm starting with the 3rd page, line 19. It talks about the fact that you purchased the property in April of 2004.
Correct.
Are you aware, Mr. Harris, that your property is zoned F5 in Rhode?
Yes, I am.
And when you bought your property in 2004, did you make any effort to learn what other uses were allowed in the property around yours?
No, I believe they were similar.
Okay. So You didn't check to see that an electric generating facility is allowed as a special use in the F5 district?
I checked to see that there was not, I would have to have looked deeper, I'm not in that, I'm not a developer. But I did check, and I did pick that property over about 4 other properties with this in mind.
You picked that property over 4 others after having checked the zoning ordinance to see what else was allowed in the area?
I looked at the zoning overlay map as far as what the zoning accordingly was, and it was similar zoning.
Okay. Now, going to the bottom of the 4th page, top of the 5th, you're talking about the current value of your property as it presently exists.
Yes.
You talk about what you say has been appraised at, and then you say, I believe it is worth at least twice that amount. This is the top of the 5th page, lines 2 to 3. I believe it is worth at least twice that amount based on similar properties, etc.
Correct.
So this is your belief of what your property is worth, correct?
Actually, no, I have another certified appraisal, and I underestimated that, obviously.
But you just adopted this testimony as your testimony in this case, correct?
Correct, I see.
Okay. What do you do for a living, Mr. Harris?
I'm a asphalt contractor, construction, and farming.
All right. You're not an appraiser?
No, I am not.
You're not a real estate broker or salesman?
No, but I do, I have shopped around for properties since this proposal.
Okay, then bottom of the 5th page, top of the 6th, this is where you list the multiple activities that you hope to conduct on your property. Starts at line 18 at the bottom of the 5th page, development of an equestrian campground. You see where I'm talking?
Yes, I do.
And related commercial activities that would blend into the environment, such as horseback trail riding, a riding school and paddock, horse shows, camping, fishing, canoeing, kayaking, and related outdoor activities. And you also envision renting the property and facilities for weddings and other functions on the site in the future. Did I read that correctly?
You did.
And then you say at the top of the next page, apparently you checked with local planning and zoning officials to determine that all the activities you just described are permitted as of right in the F5 district, is that correct?
I did. I told them my initial plans, and then they told me what was, and there was no zoning changes required.
Who at the town told you that all of the things that I've just listed that are in your testimony are permitted as of right in the F5 district?
I sat with, at the time, it was Tom Kravitz,
And who was Mr. Kravitz?
town planner.
And when did that conversation take place?
Roughly a year ago, perhaps a year and a half, maybe.
And other than this conversation with Mr. Kravitz, did you do anything on your own to confirm that all of the uses that are listed here in your testimony are permitted as of right in the F5 district in Rhode?
I've researched other places that do similar operations, and I've spent time with my family as well, doing exactly as they do.
I'm sorry, that wasn't my question, sir, I'm sorry. My question was, other than the conversation that you just described with Mr. Kravitz, did you do anything else on your own to confirm that all of these activities that are listed in your testimony are permitted as of right in the F5 district in Rhode?
I got a copy of the zoning regs from the town, and went over that and based my information on the zoning regs that I got off them, and from their conversations there being, it was Joe Raymond happened to be, so he was the zoning official as well, second. So we talked on what my plans were and what the potential was, what I could do without having to rezone the property.
So Mr. Kravitz and Mr. Raymond confirmed to you that all of these things are permitted as
Anything
of
to do with equestrian, as far as they need to do, anything to do with barns, yes, the riding academy, trail riding, it all works in the F5 according to what they told me and according to the way I read it on the town zoning regs.
What about camping, fishing, canoeing, kayaking, and related outdoor activities and facilities for weddings and other functions on the site?
An equestrian campground is where they camped with the family on the horses, and they said that under the F5, that would be allowable, yes. And then they were the ones to add in, actually, that, geez, it would be nice if you had a little spot where they utilize the property, the lake and whatnot as well.
Okay. And then going to the top of the 6th page, and this is following up on the question that my colleague, Mr. McElroy, asked you. You say at line 5, it is the proposed facility. It will surely decrease the value of my property the moment the project is approved. And that is your belief, correct?
It is my belief, yes.
And to you, it's obvious.
To me, it's obvious.
That's all I have.
Good morning, Mr. Harrison. Are you familiar with the town submitted a property value guarantee agreement to the board? It just 2016. Are you familiar with that agreement?
Vaguely.
If you're only, I just was wondering how vis-a-vis your property you feel the terms of that agreement, whether they're adequate. That'd be my question, but if you're only vaguely, it may be difficult.
Vaguely, and I guess the reason that I got involved is that I didn't think it was adequate. There's just too many variables when you get to a large piece of property and the waterfront and the time and effort before.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions for this? To be direct?